Shell 360. I haven't done a live, I think, in a couple of weeks. And that's just because I haven't had anything to talk about, honestly. Like, I feel bad doing live streams when I don't have anything to talk about. Like, I usually try to have at least one thing on my mind or an unboxing, just something. Because I feel like if I don't start out with a game plan, everything's going to go to shit. But just the last couple weeks, yeah, I really haven't had anything to talk about. The only thing I've had to talk about has been Boys Love, and I've been talking about that on Mason's channel. So I really haven't had anything to say to you guys. I'm so sorry about that. But in case you're wondering what I've been up to the last couple of weeks, I've been filming stuff with Mason for his channel. So if you go to BL_Kiki, we did a review for The Man Who Defied the BL World, and then we have another review that should be uploading to the channel fairly soon, and it is for, I'm trying to think, what did we watch? Oh, Do the Movie, which I actually talked about Do the Movie on this channel, but we talk about Do the Movie in a Boys Love vlog, so it should be coming up soon. And then we're actually going to start reviewing music on Mason's channel, which is going to be a lot of fun. So I know sometimes I talk about music on here, but I kind of talk about it very loosely. But on Mason's channel, we're actually going to be doing like actual music reviews. So we did a review of Lil Nas X's Montero, and then we're going to be doing a Madonna Greatest Hits review. And then after that, we're going to do an FX's retrospective review, which I'm really looking forward to that because Mason's going to put together the playlist, and from whatever he puts together on the playlist, that's what we're going to actually talk about. So that's exciting stuff. But yeah, outside of that, there's not really much else. Oh, see, Mason's on the chat. Hey, I was just telling them that the next review that's going to be uploaded is going to be Do the Movie. So yeah, that's what's going on there. And then, oh, International Unboxing Day is coming up with the quickness. I don't know if you guys remember International Unboxing Day because Tina Davidson doesn't really do K-pop unboxings anymore. So you might not remember, but International Unboxing Day, what can I say? I guess, you know what? Let's be messy. Let's be messy because I know you guys don't watch me because you like me. You watch me because you're waiting for me to say some scandalous shit. International Unboxing Day, the first time we ever celebrated it, it was Secret Santa type of thing. So Secret Santa came before International Unboxing Day, just to be clear. So we had Secret Santa the first year. It was me, Lupe, and Carolyn Wanhade here on YouTube, and another person whose name I cannot remember because they stopped uploading stuff on YouTube like shortly after that. That was the first Secret Santa. And then the next Secret Santa we did, I believe, was International Unboxing Day, which is Tina Davidson's birthday. Now, I want to say that International Unboxing Day is December the 5th, but I could be wrong. But Tina Davidson, as you know, is like a K-pop repository of second-gen K-pop. Almost any CD you could think of that's second generation, more than likely she has an unboxing for it on her channel because she was collecting everything second generation. So, you know, we always do a little something on her birthday just to acknowledge the fact that like she basically set up the blueprint, the template for how people unbox. Like, there used to be people that would unbox with like their face in the camera showing you their item like this, and I still do that sometimes myself, but Tina was the one who really like sat down and was like, okay, blank surface, save the photo card for last, here's some of the inclusions, page by page, this is the spine, here's the track list. Like, that was all Tina. So we would do International Unboxing Day on her birthday to just say, you know, thank you, Tina, the legacy lives on, the unboxing community is awesome, yada yada yada, good times to have. Tina has been on her novel writing ish right now, so she's not even really dealing with albums. Like, if you go to her channel right now, she has been doing her Mage series this whole time. So like, she's reading chapters, she's also like just talking about her life. But yeah, she's not even really on an unboxing trip anymore either. So her channel is still really great for archives, but if you're looking for like new unboxings, she's not really doing all that. But Unboxing Day was a big thing for me and a lot of the people that I hung out with because we just loved exchanging gifts. Well, about what, I think it's been 3 years now. About 3 years ago, a couple of people really fucked up Secret Santa for me. No, 4 years ago, they fucked it up in a way that made me not want to be the host anymore. And then after that, they fucked it up in a way that made me not even want to participate in Secret Santa anymore. So now I do Secret Santa with just a small core group of people. So this year, it's going to be Alex, Jade, Mason, and me. Last year was Alex, Jade, Mason, and me, and Alondra. But this year, she chose not to participate, which is fine. It wasn't any beef or anything like that. I think she just was like on a Twitter. I think she was just like taking some time off of Twitter when we started organizing it, so she didn't get in time. So no big deal. No harm, no foul. But anyway, yeah, Secret Santa's coming up this year, and it's going to be super low-key, but we're not doing Secret Santa at the same time as International Unboxing Day. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that. But Secret Santa, I find it very ironic. That in the years since we stopped doing Secret Santa as a larger collective, that topics of racism and passive aggressiveness and, you know, bias and things like that have been spoken on in a more mainstream platform. Because I remember the 2 years where Secret Santa really fucked me over. It was on some racism bullshit that people were like, no, you're just being sensitive. No, you're just in your feelings. No, it's not like what you think it is. And I'm just really glad that, like, if I was to tell the story today that I told back then, people could actually tell, like, that was on some Karen type bullshit. But back then, people were like, you're being a bitch, and it wasn't even that big of a deal, and why are you like this? And I just need to escape all of your drama. So I've told the story before. The first year that Secret Santa got fucked up for me was the year that Jade and Amanda got in a fight, and fucking Amanda went the fuck off about how BTS fans are so maligned and treated so poorly, and it's not fair that I'm telling her to stop arguing. And the thing was, it was such a random thing. Like, Jade had made a statement like, BTS fans are tripping right now because, you know, back in the old days, I swear, every 5 minutes there was some new fight between BTS fans and every other fandom in K-pop. It's not like that as much anymore, but if you were a part of K-pop from like 2016 to 2018, baby, you know what it was like. You mentioned BTS on social media with anything other than flattering words, and people were ready to find your parents and your grandparents and put sights on their foreheads. And so Jada said something like, you know, BTS fans are wilding right now. This shit is really annoying. Something like that. Like, fairly general, fairly innocuous. Nothing bad about the group. Bad about some fans who are being problematic, because when it comes to standom, we all know certain fan groups can be quite problematic. Hell, SHINee fans can be quite problematic, and I'm one of them. So she makes that statement, and then Amanda fucking goes off her nut. She's just like, I'm tired of people abusing BTS fans. We don't ever do anything wrong. We always take all this fucking bullshit, and I'm tired of it. Say that shit to my face. Don't pick on my friend. Like, she just goes off, and I'm like, Amanda, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop, because we're all here trying to have a good time. We're not trying to have no drama. We're not trying to have no fight. We're just trying to have a good time. You know, we're just trying to live a life. And she's like, why are you telling me to stop? You need to tell Jay to stop. Now, initially, when I first made my statement, I said, y'all need to chill. And Amanda kept talking. And that's why I was like, Amanda, stop. Amanda, stop. Jade hadn't said a word. The reason Jade hadn't said a word is because Jade was fucking eating dinner. She made her little statement, put her phone down, and went to go eat dinner. Didn't know what the fuck was happening in the group chat, nothing like this. I know exactly when this happened to, because this happened in 2018, because it was after Junghyun passed away. Damn, why is like the marker of time? Anyway, so she's saying all this, and I'm like, the reason I'm not telling Jade to shut up right now is because you're the one who keeps talking. Jade hasn't said anything else. And if you notice, when I first started talking, I said, y'all need to stop. Anyway, keeps on going. So finally, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. If you don't want to listen to me and you don't want to have a nice conversation, you want to be on some bullshit, argue with the wall. And I got out the group chat. And that was the end of like the big Secret Santa. Because if you look back on my channel, especially many, many years ago, you'll see I used to be a part of Secret Santas that at one point we had almost 20 people. Like these were big Secret Santas where I'm sending stuff and coordinating people sending stuff across the country. Like big teams Guan. And so I was like, you know what? It's not worth the headache. This is not worth my time. I was already having problems with people promising to buy stuff for Secret Santa and not doing it. People buying shit that they weren't supposed to because they weren't paying attention to the rules. Like, I was really having to do a lot of stuff on my own just to make sure the event ran smoothly. The last thing I was going to do is let a bitch tell me about how I'm just being mean to her and I'm not being mean to the black girl. And I'm like, you know what? If you want to act like you can't read when I said y'all need to stop and then you are the only one who kept going, so that's why I'm telling you that you need to stop, then I don't know what to tell you, sis. Go ahead and be hurt. Go ahead and be hurt. But no one talks to that bitch no more, no way. Like, Amanda, I don't know if you might be secretly watching or not. I don't know if you got some goons or some minions who are still secretly watching my channel, but fuck you, bitch. I don't ever think about you unless I'm telling this fucking story. And when I tell this fucking story, I still think about how fucking racist you are and how you said your dream city to visit was Boston because it seems so nice. And when people told you that Boston is mad racist, you were like, really? I would have never guessed that because you don't fucking pay attention to shit, you dumb bitch. Anyway, fuck that lady. So, anyway, on to the next one. The next year after that, Amanda's out, and there's like still what the girl that Amanda was defending is still fucking in the group chat, and we're doing Secret Santa again, but just not with homegirl. So we're doing Secret Santa, right? And the girl that was being defended last year, she posts something like, if you don't want to hear bad things on the internet, then I suggest that you just mute certain words and don't let it affect you. Now, Mason says, it's not always that easy. Sometimes you do mute certain words and sub-tweets just end up on your timeline. And I was like, yeah, Mason is right. Sometimes you don't be looking for drama. It just shows up in your lap. People need to quit being so fucking awful. And I guess she didn't want to hear truth, or like basically she was upset that people would talk to her in a way that was like, oh, maybe there's another... Yeah. So, like, maybe there's another option. And so, yeah, Onionator was the girl in Secret Santa Season 2 that got on my fucking nerves. Anyway, so we're just telling her, like, listen, homegirl, just letting you know, sometimes it's not that easy. And it's hard to protect your mental health on these social media sites. Like, literally, that was what it was, right? So... I guess she felt like, oh shit, I put my foot in my fucking mouth, so I'm going to go ahead and block these people who are disagreeing with me. She blocks me, she blocks Mason, she blocks Alex. Well, me and Mason are in a Secret Santa. When she blocked me and she blocked Mason, it kicked us out of our Secret Santa group. So we're not getting any updates, we're not hearing anything. And so finally I reach out to the event organizer. I'm like, hey girl, I've not gotten any messages about anything having to do with Secret Santa. What the hell's going on? And she's like, oh, well, we've done this, that, the other, and you just never responded, so I figured maybe something was wrong with you. And this was Emily, who was hosting. I'm like, no, girl, nothing's wrong with me, but, I mean, it's been like a month now, and you haven't heard nothing from me, and you thought that maybe something was wrong with me, or maybe I was not responding on purpose, but you didn't want to reach out and figure out what the fuck was going on. So then it was like, well, I'm very busy. I am in school and I'm doing work and I'm moving and I've got all this other stuff going on. So I can't really be responsible for finding all this stuff out. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to tell you what it is. Since you don't seem to notice that like 2 people from the Secret Santa haven't responded to anything, haven't been participating in any conversations, really have been completely MIA, and you didn't notice that there was a notification in the group showing that we were blocked, this is what's going on. What are you going to do about it? Do you know what we were told? Well, the event's almost here anyway, so rather than putting you guys back in the group chat, we're just going to tell you what the information is for Secret Santa so that we can all talk with each other and you guys can just be on the sidelines and send the gifts. And I was fucking pissed. I'm still pissed about that. Emily, you're a nice lady. You really are. But I don't think you got, like, how awful that whole situation came across because, like, when I was telling her, this is not right. Like, she shouldn't be allowed to block us out of this fucking group chat when we did nothing wrong. Screenshots, here you go. We did nothing wrong. Why are we getting blocked out of this group chat when we did nothing wrong? If anything, you should kick her ass out the group chat because she's the one who blocked us after she said some wild shit. So she's just like, I'm really feeling beat up by you right now. I'm really feeling like you're being mean to me. I'm really feeling like you're not being understanding. You're being mad aggressive right now. And now that we're in the age of white women tears and everything else, I think you can understand why for me personally, I feel like I'm being gaslit here. I feel like I'm giving you my genuine concern. I'm telling you how to make the situation right. And you're not hearing that. Instead, you're hearing, oh, this black lady is mad at me. Now, like I said, Emily's still a good person. I don't have no drama with Emily. I still follow her on Twitter. But it really fucked me up in those moments that I'm telling you, here are the screenshots. I did nothing wrong. Here are the screenshots. Mason did nothing wrong. Here are the screenshots. Alex did nothing wrong. Yet and still, we don't get to participate in a fun event because this person who's still in the group chat has us all blocked. And rather than pushing them out as well so that all of us are no longer a part of the event, instead, the people who did nothing wrong per screenshots, we're not allowed to be a part of the event. Instead, all we're relegated to is fucking UPS Express. And so, like I said, I don't think that Emily meant to come across the way she did, but I do think that if Emily had a chance to review that situation for what it was back in the day, and then like look at how the political climate and the microaggression situation has been brought to the forefront, I think she would understand that this was a wrong move. I really think she would understand that was a wrong move. But needless to say, that was my last large Secret Santa. After that, I'm like, keep it in-house, keep it between friends, let's just not do this shit no more because it was too exhausting, it's too tiring. And you know, even the people who originally did it, like Lupe had stopped doing it at that point, so I'm like, what is even the point? What is even the point? So I don't know. I think some people are still friends. Mason said something earlier about who was friends. So Amanda's not friends with anyone, but apparently Onionator is still friends with a lot of people. I don't know. I don't keep track of Onionator. I don't follow her on any of the social medias. I literally could give a fuck what she does. Honestly and truly could give a fuck what she does. Fuck that bitch too. But I will say this. I have found that those experiences were a small kind of test kitchen, if you will, for the experiences you get out in the real world with people. Like when it comes to being a minority. Because actually, what's incredibly ironic about all this, guys, not even making this up, 3 minorities were blocked by 1 white woman. A Korean man, a gay man, and a black woman were all blocked by a white woman. Fun. So anyway, a lot of times in work, in the public, in stan K-pop spaces, yet and still, being a minority, it's always reckless. It's always reckless. Because no matter what the situation is, no matter whether you're right, you're wrong, or sideways, the minute somebody finds out you're a minority, all of a sudden that becomes an excuse to treat you subhuman. So if you are a queer woman, if you are non-binary, if you are trans, if you are black, indigenous, other people of color, and you have something to say that's not effusive and beautiful and wonderful, all of a sudden people will be like, ha, that's what you get for being an F word, for being a C word, for being a W word, for being any of the other words that's like a letter and a bunch of asterisks behind it. And I find it very odd. I find it very odd that that is the way that fan spaces are. That it's never like, I'm going to address the word you said and tell you why I think the words you said are wrong. It's, I'm going to tell you why your existence is wrong. Now, I don't know if people resort to that because they actually think that what you're saying has a kernel of truth that cannot be defended, so they'd rather just pick on you as a person. But I cannot tell you how many times people have been doxxed, people have been had rumors made about them, people have been accused of all kinds of horrible things, people have been called everything but a child of God on these internets, in these fan groups, because people got their feelings hurt because somebody said your bias's new comeback video is not my speed. Like, honestly, I'm so glad that my platform never grew any more than what it is. Like, there was a time when I was experiencing exponential growth on YouTube. Like, before I moved to Dallas, I was gaining subs all the time. Every video I was uploading was at least 1,000 views. Like, it was starting to snowball. And at that time, had I kept buying and had I kept uploading the way that I was, I really and truly feel like I would have had a much bigger audience than what I have now. But I thank God every day that I have the audience that I have, and it's as insular as it is now, because I don't believe for an instant that my mental health would have been able to survive me being a larger creator. Like, I look at the shit that people say about Katie from Canada, and she had people wholesale photoshopping conversations with her in order to prove that she was a horrible person. They couldn't pull anything from any of her videos. They couldn't pull anything from her Twitter feed. They couldn't pull anything real. Instead, they literally photoshopped conversations that didn't sound anything like her to try to prove that she was a racist, to try to prove that she was a bigot, to try to prove all kinds of terrible things about her character that were never true. And yeah, Katie's white. As far as I know, I mean, I've never heard her say she's anything other than white. If Katie, as big a creator as she is, had been a person of color, they wouldn't have even needed to Photoshop anything for her. If they hated her, they would have just said, oh, I hate that blank bitch. That would have been it. That would have been the conversation. That would have been it. Nothing else. And it's just really frustrating being in some of these spaces. Like, not gonna lie, I think the reason why there are not as many large Black K-pop unboxing channels is because Black K-pop unboxers have gotten tired of being picked on in these spaces. Like Dear 10, I don't know if she identifies as Black or not. That could be just an assumption on my part. But she doesn't put her face in a lot of her videos. She really doesn't. And I think it's because she's like, I'm not trying to invite the negative energy, because the minute people see very clearly that you are Black, all of a sudden your page is inundated with you don't belong in K-pop, you don't belong as a fan here. And the racism is also like extended to people in K-pop. Homegirl from Rania / Black Swan, like, she got bullied by fans of another member of the group recently. And then she comes out and lets people know, like, hey guys, actually, she's been fucking bullying me. She is a problem in the group. Don't nobody like her ass. And so I find it very ironic and funny that she sent her little fans and followers over here to try to bully me about some bullshit when she's the actual motherfucking bully. Well, of all of the people in the world who could try to defend Homegirl against the barrage of bullshit that she got, why is fucking Ollie London coming out of his face to call Fatu somebody who is a bigot and a racist and has been racist towards him and everything else, when Ollie London is literally a fucking racist caricature? There's nothing about Ollie London at all that can be defended. Nothing. Say, you can list anything about him, nothing about him can be defended. He told people that his pronouns were Korean, not they, she, he. Even I read some weird Reddit thing about somebody wanting to be called an it. I would never feel comfortable calling a human an it, but he said no, my pronoun is Korean, as if Korea doesn't have a rich cultural heritage that goes back thousands of years, as if Koreans haven't endured their own struggle with oppression and having so many people take over their land, having so many people lord their cultures over Korean people. Here comes Ollie London being like, no, Korean is like clothes. I can wear them when I want to. He's not serious about anything at all. I feel like at one point he tweeted like, I'm black right now. It's like, and he has the nerve to open up his mouth to talk about what a terrible person Fatu is. When Fatu basically made a video saying like, yeah, him saying his pronouns are Korean, that's wrong because your pronouns can't be a culture. Your pronouns can't be a culture. That's all she said. And it's just like, people will jump through hoops to be on some racist bullshit. The fact that Ollie London even has a fucking audience, like, I get that people want to watch Ollie London because he's a joke. Like, he's got, I think, over 1 million views of his version of Butter by BTS, which, can we talk about that for a minute? Yeah, not all views are good views. How dare y'all fucking give Ollie London all this clout? How dare y'all? I would never. Anyway, Ollie London has been a troll for forever, but now his trolling has veered outside of just simply him being like, I want to look like Jimin from BTS, to him being just flat out fucking racist. Just flat out fucking racist. And instead of people calling him out for what he is, explaining how he's just fucking dead ass wrong, and that if he really has any kind of love for Korea, he would at least take the time to learn how to speak Korean properly. Instead, people have actually literally been trying to make the case for why transracial is real. And how even though Ollie London may not be your cup of tea, if he's going through the motions of trying to be Korean, maybe we should listen. Fuck out of here. What motions is he going through? Just because he cut his fucking face up to 1 million pieces? Ollie London has body dysmorphia. I know it's wrong to diagnose people with stuff, but he has body dysmorphia. Like, he has convinced himself that the he that he grew up with is not who he wants to see in the mirror, and he is unsatisfied with himself. So he's been doing everything he can to make sure what he sees in the mirror is not the Ollie London who was born into this world. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, because there's a lot of people who have body dysmorphia and they seek treatment for it, and it's fine. But rather than actually acknowledge what the real deal is and how unfucking happy he was with his regular white person face, instead he's tried to couch it into being about being transracial. As if race is a costume. As if race isn't an experience. Because it really is. It really is an experience. How do people know what their race is? By being involved in the world around them. Honestly, you'll hear so many black people, I can't speak for other people, but you'll hear so many black people tell you that they never thought about the fact that they were black until somebody called them out about being black. There are so many black kids who will tell you they did not know they were black until they went to school. Because no one in their household, in black households at least, talks about their blackness as being something you need to be ever mindful of from the day you're born. We don't sit our babies down and be like, oh, look at you, say mama, say dada, say black. We don't do that. Like, we have our kids just like everybody else has their kids. But then our kids go to school, and especially if our kids go to school in predominantly white institutions, the other kids who aren't black will be like, oh, you're black. And so then your kid comes home and be like, Mom, am I black? And I'm like, oh yeah, honey, I'm sorry, I didn't think to say anything to you. You're black. You also have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. These are things that you just are. And you go through your life with the experience of being black. And you don't have to do things to become black. You don't have to study things to become black. You just are. You just are through your cultural interactions with the world. And so Ollie London can't ever be Korean. He can't ever be Korean because he'll never have that experience. He'll never have that experience existing in a world where the world outside you reinforces who you are. Because that's the thing about race. And also, like, being Korean, it's not even race. That's like a complete ethnicity that's like actual DNA type shit. Anyway, I digress. He'll never actually know what it's like to be Korean. Because the world outside of him is never going to tell him, oh, you must be Korean. He's never going to wake up one day living in an entire world and then somebody ping him and be like, you are this. That's never going to happen to Ollie London. And he can do as much surgery as he wants to. He can go do all the interviews he wants to. The fact of the matter is, no one's ever going to call him that. So for him to say, my pronouns are Korean, again, like I said, to him it's a fucking costume. To him it's a fucking joke. Whereas to real people living their real lives who are getting attacked in the street by people who have racist, biased agendas, yeah, he'll never know that. He'll never know that. So fuck him too. Like, fuck him long term. Man, this is not the conversation I meant to have. I feel like I've been super mad today. Anywho, let's stop all that. Let's talk about a couple of things that make me happy. First thing that makes me happy. Before the pandemic, I coined a couple that I wanted to see. And I told you guys here on live stream, what would I like to see? What OTPs would I like to have exist in the world? And years ago, I said, I would love to see Megan Thee Stallion and Kim Namjoon from BTS. I would name that ship Stalaman. Bitch, it's real. It's real. It's not just Megan singing a rap for the Butter remix. It's not just them doing a quick little photo shoot together. Stalaman on stage together. I called that shit literally years ago. I think it's been now over 2 years since I first coined Stalaman. It happened. I did that. You're welcome. They were so cute together. She is so beautiful. He's tall. They look real nice together. I don't think that they're going to be a love match per se, but I really and truly hope that because they've shared a stage together, because they've had a conversation together, she's going to end up on a regular album track. Like that's the dream. Like, the remix is cute, but I want to see them on a regular track together. Like, either a track on Megan's new project or a track on a BTS new project. But I think that Megan with BTS is a great look for the both of them. I think that Stalaman is a beautiful look. Yeah, I see it. And I see it long term. I see it long term. I like Sid a lot. If G-Eazy was allowed to kiss on Megan Thee Stallion, why not let Namjoon get a piece? Just let him look at it. Like, just let him look at it. He's not gonna do nothing. He's a good boy. He's not gonna take advantage. But girl, like, if you let G-Eazy kiss all over you, you know, let Namjoon take a picture with you. Let him get in the studio with you. Let him tell you about his stock portfolio and his crypto portfolio and the various pieces of art that he sponsors around Korea. Let him let you know about his foundations. Let him read you art books, and let him read you poetry. Let him do nice things for you, girl. You deserve. Lord, I've seen what you do for others. Do for me, please. Do for me. There was the TikTok I saw the other day that was like a whole bunch of like middle-aged Korean men that were doing some TikTok dance. I don't even know what fucking dance they were doing. I don't know what song it was. I don't know anything about anything other than the fact that it was a lot of really good-looking men in their like late 40s to early 60s. I don't know where y'all was. I don't know how to get to where y'all was, but I need this for me. I need this for me. And it doesn't have to be a Korean man. I'm not I'm not fetishizing anybody like that. Like, if a beautiful man from Pakistan wants to take me home to his parents and then let me cuss them out real quick so they can know that I'm not the one, the two, or the three, I'm willing to go for that. If a beautiful man from the heart of New Zealand wants to take me home and show me the mountains, I'm down for that too. If there is a gorgeous Dimitri who's looking at me and says, "Do you want to keep warm with this bottle of vodka while we sit in the tundras of Siberia?" I'm here for this too. I'm here for this too. Like, oh my gosh, come rescue me. I'm tired of paying these bills on my own. I'm ready to have somebody sponsor me. Please. I'm so tired of doing this on my own. BTS, like, if y'all just want to be secret sponsorships for the channel, like, I'm down for that. You don't have to tell nobody. You don't tell nobody. I'll give you my PayPal. Just send me some money. Anyway, speaking of BTS, I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to a lot of their activities here in the United States these past couple of weeks, just because it was Thanksgiving weekend. I had like other real life stuff to do. Like, I had to go Black Friday shopping because I buy stuff for my family. Really haven't had a lot of time to pay attention to stuff going on with them. But I feel like I must not have seen BTS in a really long time, because looking at all of like the photography from around the concert, they look so different to me. Everybody's baby fat is gone. Nobody's got any baby fat anymore. All the baby fat has left the room, left the country, never to be seen again. Like, Jungkook looks so grown. It's unreal how grown he looks. I'm like, who is this man? I remember there used to be a kid in the group. Who's this man? That's weird. Namjoon, he looks like he has a really healthy 401k and is also contemplating what country he wants to retire in. Totally down for that. Suga was like virtually unrecognizable to me. I'm like, who is this guy? Jimin, are you on keto now? Like, you look so lean. It's crazy. Like, your face looks so different now. Yeah. The only person who looks the same all the time to me is Jin. Nothing's changed with Jin's face. But Jin was also a grown-ass man kind of when they started. So, like, he just looks like another grown man. But, yeah, stage full of grown people. Grown people who remind me more and more every day that it's about time for somebody to make some decisions about military service. Like, that was the main thing that was going through my mind as I was looking at them. I'm like, we really need to be having this military conversation. Like, y'all got to decide what y'all are going to do. Yeah, y'all really do have to decide what you're going to do. I'm not saying that they need to do one thing or the other, because when it comes to something like military service, that is an individual's prerogative and perspective. I'm not even a Korean citizen, so I don't really have an opinion about military service. And I think if you don't live in Korea, you need to keep your mouth shut about military service. This has nothing to do with you. This is totally about people who live in South Korea and who are actually subject to the mandatory military service. They are really the only people that should have any opinion about this. But yeah, looking at them and seeing how everyone's baby fat is all gone and it's just like a pack of grown-ass men, I'm just thinking to myself, like, yeah, when are we having these military conversations? Because it won't be long. It won't be long at all. And I think people, it's weird. Like, on the one hand, those of us who have been fans of Second Gen, we're familiar with the whole military enlistment saga. And actually, enlistment used to be way longer than it is now. But, like, enlistment is not a thing that we're scared of anymore because we've all had to go through it. But for people whose groups are just now kind of approaching that, it's weird because some people are like, enlistment's not going to change anything. Everything's going to be the way it's always been. Why be worried about enlistment? And then there's those of us who have seen our groups literally dissolve because of enlistment, that we're like, enlistment changes everything. Nothing's ever going to be the same. And I think that something that fans, especially if they're kind of newer to the whole enlistment thing, need to keep in mind is that the problem isn't the enlistment. The problem comes with, where is everybody's head at before enlistment, and what's the enlistment schedule? Because that literally makes all the difference. Every group that I've seen where things fell apart when people started listing were when people did the super long staggered enlistments, and when like record contracts were already supposed to start renewing around the time people are going into enlistment. Like those two things seem to be the main factors on whether or not your group is going to survive enlistment. Because if the group is friendly, they get along, they're not due for a renewal anytime soon, and people start going to the military and they're going fairly close, and the group is probably going to be out of full completion for maybe about 2.5 years, usually that enlistment does not affect anything. Things go along smooth, quick, it's nice. But when you have groups that drag out enlistment, like one person goes all of a sudden and then nobody else goes for like a couple of years, and then it's just like over the course of 5 or 6 years people are going through with enlistment, that's usually a bad sign. If the group is up for renewals of contracts right before enlistment start taking place, and then people enlist, and while they're in enlistment the news comes out that they're not renewing, then yeah, expect things to fucking fall apart. But it is interesting how like people feel like the enlistment itself is the problem. It's not the enlistment itself. It really is the state of the group and what their enlistment strategy is. Because if you got a good enlistment strategy, you can survive pretty much anything. Hell, I'm shocked that Rain survived enlistment, because Rain is not even a group, he's just one person. But when he first came back from enlistment, like things were rough for him. His television show didn't go great, his album didn't sell really well, and then thanks to the power of a meme, he had like a little mini comeback and things started doing okay for him. But yeah, initially enlistment totally tanked him. But also Rain made some really bad moves when he came out of enlistment. I can tell you about him. First bad move Rain made when he came out of enlistment is that Rain decided that he was going to put all of his energy into going and working in China. And for good reason. At the time, China didn't have the Hallyu ban. The Hallyu ban didn't even seem to be on the horizon. And so he was making literal money hand over fist. Like literally could not make enough money to leave China. No one could offer him enough, because China was just like, if you could just stand here and look pretty, we'll throw money at you. Then the Hallyu ban came into effect. All the jobs dried up in China. It's time to come back to Korea. And he released My Life, which was slow and just not anybody's speed. But then Gang kind of did a little like resurgence because it became a meme. And he was able to get a little bit more shine, get a little more television, get a few more projects. But yeah, initially, like, enlistment ate Rain up. And people loved Rain. When Rain first came out of the military, he did a stage on one of the, like, end of the year award shows. And people were, like, starry-eyed looking at him. But he wasn't in a great place when it came to enlistment. Like, when he came back from the military, his record label had fallen apart, and he also had like the whole scandal, the fact that he was dating his wife while he was in the military, so like that fucked him over. The enlistment itself didn't hurt anything. His actions during his enlistment and the fact that his record company was in shambles is what fucked up his career and what caused him to jump ship and head over to China. Same thing with like, I'm trying to think what other group. Dio had like the most perfect enlistment. It was early, beginning of the pandemic, so it went really quickly. That's true. Not only did Dio have a perfect enlistment, but like I want to say he's one of the ones that got out early, because there were a couple of people that were enlisted from K-pop who actually got out of enlistment early because of the pandemic. But yeah, that staggered enlistment, if things are already rocky with your label, with your group, and then you start staggering that enlistment, that's when everything goes wrong. That's when everything goes wrong. Sometimes, in my heart of hearts, I wish that all of EXO had enlisted together. Not for nothing, but like, EXO is still a really viable group. I'm never going to say that EXO doesn't have legs. Like, EXO can still sell copies. EXO still has fans. Like, they still can make their money. Hell, Baekhyun had multiple million selling albums. So, like, you're not going to be able to convince me that EXO can't make their money. But I feel like EXO has been enlisting members for the last 15 years, and they still have more people to go. Kai still needs to go to the military, y'all. He still needs to go.
What?
Yeah, hadn't gone yet. So Baekhyun is in the military right now. Jio's out. Chanyeol's in the military, Suho's in the military, Shuman's back. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, Chen is in the military right now. I don't know why my mind is just not letting me think of every member of EXO. My mind's just doing woo. Anyway, if they just all gone to the military in freaking 2019, they could all be home right now. They could all be home right now. But instead, they've managed to drag this thing out. And the more they drag this thing out, the more I wonder, like, what does this mean when renewal time comes? Because already I think that Chen's like on the thinnest of ice when it comes to renewal. Sehun still has to do it. Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, this could have been over with. But instead we're just dragging this out. But the other thing with enlistment that also will fuck you up is that a lot of times people want to enlist when something bad has happened. As if after 21 months, people will forget that you pissed them off. Like, that's the whole reason why Chen went when he did. That's the reason why Chanyeol went when he did. It was scandals, so it's like, okay, I better enlist. But, like, do you really think that people are going to get over it? Because if y'all don't remember, Sungmin from Super Junior, he enlisted when people got mad at him for getting married. And he came back from enlistment and didn't nobody forget and wasn't nobody forgiving. Like, enlistment can be cool sometimes, but it's not going to end all your woes. It's not going to make people forget every bad thing that happened. You know, definitely, I mean, think of Homeboy from Big Bang who enlisted. That didn't stop him from being found guilty in his little court case, did it? No, it didn't. So the idea that enlistment is going to be the magic cure-all for a scandal, record companies need to rethink that. You need to hire new and more creative PR teams because, no, that's not what's happening out here in these streets. People are still mad. I don't think Chanyeol is going to come back from military service and everybody's going to be like, oh, do you remember how silly it was? We were all mad at you. I don't think that's what's going to happen. And I still don't even really understand why we're mad at Chanyeol. Like, I'm trying to remember because, like, people were mad because this person claimed to be his ex-girlfriend on social media and claimed to have all these evidences of him being a terrible boyfriend. But, like, at the same time, I guess a lot of it was proven to be fake. So I'm still not exactly sure why everybody hates Chanyeol. Like, I still don't really get it all that much. The Lucas thing was a little bit different, even though it was very much the same, but it was still a little bit different. But, like, yeah, fucking, I'm still not sure why we're mad at him. Like, I feel like I missed a huge conversation in K-pop. Why are we still mad at him? I don't know. Speaking of Lucas, I guess recently Lucas's fans have been like, all right, he's reflected long enough, bring him back into the group. And I just want to ask, like, now that it seems like Lucas is just not going to be a thing anymore, is WayV still going to be a thing? Like, I'm just asking because I don't know. There's so much NCT stuff that it is really hard for me to keep up on everything. So, from what I've understood, just on a surface level, Lucas was the main reason why people even really cared about WayV. So, with him not being welcomed at NCT summer camp anymore, is WayV still going to be a thing? Because I don't feel like I hear of a lot of people who claim to be WayV fans. I feel like there's a lot of NCT fans who like WayV, but I don't really feel like I ever hear anybody saying, like, I am a WayV fan who likes NCT. So, with Lucas being the main draw, being the main commercial getter, being the main, you know, visual, whatever else, like, are people still checking for WayV at all? Or is this like something that SM should just like burn all their contracts and start over? Yes, kind of. Sarah, yes, kind of. NCT, as everyone should recall from many, many moons ago, NCT is the SM, what do you call it? It's the SM project that's supposed to be kind of like Johnny's in Japan, where every prefecture has their own group. Well, they're supposed to be like NCT China, NCT Japan, NCT Hollywood, all this other stuff. And the Chinese NCT is WayV, or Wenshin, I think is what they're called in China. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't really check for them like that. But anyway, Lucas was the main one because he was in Super M. He was a big part of NCT promotions. Also, just like whenever they do like the bigger NCT he would be a big part of that. And so, yeah, he was like the one that SM was putting their money on because he looks so much like Choi Min Ho, which I don't blame them. If I could find another Choi Min Ho, I'd put all my money on him as well. But Lucas turned out to be like a complete fuckboy apparently, and nobody wants him around. And I don't think that he did enough to endear himself to people for them to want to try to rehab his image. So he's not invited to the NCT picnic. And because of that, I'm just wondering, like, does this tank their entire Chinese subunit, or are they going to try to find another beautiful Chinese boy to put in his place? Because I think of the WayV members, Hendry, I guess, is the other one that's really popular for NCT China arm. Is Ten a part of WayV? Is he a part of WayV China? Or China NCT? I don't know the members of WayV like that. So, like, is Hendry popular enough for them just to, like, make things work with him? Just with him and Ten? Like, is that enough? Personally, if I was SM, I'd tell you exactly what I'd do. Let me tell you about it. If I was SM, I would scrap WayV. I would put a big announcement saying, you know what, WayV is just not working for us. We've decided that we're gonna reshuffle some things. You know, Lucas really tanked the team. He's tainted the name. We're not gonna deal with it anymore. That's dead. Then, if I was SM, first I would do like a limited run of all the WayV albums, sell them out, just to go ahead and make a little quick money because the secondary market's going to be hot. I would then try to find out like which members can I salvage from WayV to make the NCT Thailand subunit. And that would be where I'd stick a massive amount of money. And then for the ones that speak Chinese, I'd be like, do any of you all happen to be good with speaking Taiwanese? Because I feel like there's some money to be made there. And I would focus, if I was SM and I was trying to get into other Asian countries, I'd focus my entire energies on Thailand and Taiwan. That's where I'd put my money. First of all, Taiwan has always been a huge market for K-pop. If you're an SM stan, then you already know SM for years made special Taiwanese versions of their albums, and it was a big collector's market for fans of K-pop. Thailand loves K-pop. Thailand adores K-pop. And they have huge K-pop stars from Thailand. And Ten's already from Thailand. I would totally focus my energies on trying to do a Thailand subunit. And there's so many talented kids out of Thailand that would give their left nut to be a part of a K-pop boy band for real. Like, the amount of money that SM is leaving on the table by not having an SM Thailand unit is ridiculous. They are fumbling the bag with NCT Japan because NCT Japan is mostly Korean members, and they have so many talented Japanese kids that they could just make a completely Japanese subunit. But of course, SM after like BoA, DBSK, and SHINee and Girls' Generation, they lost their way with Japan. They really did. Like, they had a really good debut with Red Velvet and then just kind of forgot about it. FX, what even the fuck was FX's Japanese release? I'm just asking, as somebody who was legitimately curious, what even was FX's Japanese release? Fucking Cowboy? Come on now. Anyway, yeah, SM has lost the plot when it comes to Japan. But they could get it back. They could get it back. Like, you've got kids like Yuta who have been training at SM headquarters and have been learning the K-pop ways. And they would be the ones to help you draft your new Japanese playbook if you would just listen to them. And SM is like, no, can't do that. That's too hard. Like, when's the last time SM got one of their groups to do a theme song to an anime? That used to be the ticket. That used to be the end. When you wanted your group to hit big in Japan, you got them an anime theme song. How come NCT Japan doesn't have an anime theme song? How come aespa isn't working on an anime theme song right now? That used to be the way to get in. Hell, there are people who came to K-pop through J-pop through anime theme songs. Like, that's a whole subculture. So that's why I'm saying, like, I just feel like if SM wants to be in Japan again, they need to really look at Japan as not just a place to do the Japanese version of a Korean single. They need to really look at Japan as its own market. I'm surprised that SM hasn't learned this lesson strictly from looking at Taemin's career. Taemin and Boa are prime examples of longevity if you treat Japan seriously. Taemin, Boa, and TVXQ. Because TVXQ always makes sure if I release one thing in Korea, I'm gonna release one, maybe two things in Japan. Boa's always gonna make sure if I release something in Korea, I'm gonna release one, maybe two things in Japan. Taemin was always like, oh, I released a Korean album, let me do a single and an album in Japan. And they've always made the Japanese market an additional primary market. They've never treated Japan like, oh, it's just an afterthought. They've always made sure that their Japanese fan base knew, like, I'm giving you brand new material, I'm doing interviews in your language, like, I'm really making you a part of this. I am a Japanese pop artist the same way I'm a Korean pop artist, in terms of the fact that, like, I really am a part of the scene. And SM knows this, yet and still they made NCT Japan whatever the fuck that was. And they could do so much better. They've got Yuta, they've got Shitaro, they've got that one kid, the TikTok kid. Like, they've got people. They've got people. But SM doesn't like money, I guess. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with them. They should be doing better. They should be doing better. They're really leaving a lot of money on the table. I'm trying to think if there's anything else K-pop wise that I want to talk about. Not really. I don't really have anything else. I was like, is there anything else I want to talk about? I don't really have anything else I feel like talking about. I don't know. Just the year is coming to a close. I'm interested to see what Spotify says my favorite songs are.
Stay by the Kid Laroi.
If it tells me that Stay by the Kid Laroi is my top song of the year, I'm going to cancel my Spotify membership.
Or no, it's gonna say that other Kid Laroi song is your top listen.
I feel like my top listen is gonna end up being Lil Nas X's Industry Baby, because I listen to that quite a bit whenever I listen to, like, the pop list. I wouldn't be surprised if Blinding Lights is still on my list even after 2 years. My favorite K-pop song of the year, even though it's a late entry into the game, I think my favorite K-pop song this year, according to my Spotify, is probably going to end up being Favorite by NCT. I really like that song. I could live without that entire video. I could live without that video. They could have done something completely different with that video. But the song, on the other hand, the song is every once in a while, NCT will do something that, like, makes my heart melt. And this is the one. This was the one. Like, I haven't been as pleased with a full NCT project probably since the Superhuman project. Yeah. I remember the first time I heard Superhuman, I'm like, this is a special song. I remember the first time I heard Touch, I thought that was a very special song. Favorite, immediately, I'm like, this is the best repackage y'all have ever done. You can never beat this. This is it. I don't know what y'all are gonna do next, but this was it right here. Whatever this was, this is exactly what y'all needed to do in order to keep me buying y'all's albums. So, yeah. Man, what a great fucking song. What a great fucking song. Girl, you're my favorite. I love that song. I'm sorry. That song is so good. I'm trying to think what else would be in my top K-pop songs. Oh, let's not beat around the bush. Code by SHINee is going to be one of my top K-pop songs of the year. don't think about it, be about it. Let's crack the code. Get yourself that's gonna be one of them. I'm trying to think. What's another top? Y'all tell me, instead of me talking, you tell me, what are your top 3 K-pop songs of the year? Just top 3. I'm not even going to make you do 5. Top 3. I know Favorite is one of my top K-pop songs of the year. I know SHINee's Code is one of my top K-pop songs of the year. And maybe even Heart Attack, because I really like Heart Attack a lot, but I'm not exactly sure. But that would be very, very close. And I'm trying to think what the third song would be. You're right. TXT's Love Song. Yep, that is absolutely my 3. That is absolutely my 3. Thank you. Yeah. I think it's Favorite, Love Song, and Code by SHINee. That's my top 3 of the year. ATEEZ had nice projects, but those projects were not hitting the way I needed them to be hitting. Purple Kiss Zombie. Okay, Purple Kiss. That's new. Very, very Getaway. All right. Dum Dum. Okay. I know that Weekly is probably going to end up on Mason's list. I'm trying to think what other songs. There was a lot of good songs. If I was going to go albums, I think EHI's album this year was fucking stellar. I don't think that people gave it everything that they should have given it because it was beautiful. I thought Dio's album this year was exceptional. Even though it was like a ballad album, and I'm not always about that ballad life, I think you're going to find that it has a lot more playback value this winter than it did when it was released. The Boys Maverick, okay. Bugaboo's Bugaboo. I'm sorry, I can't think about Bugaboo without thinking about Destiny's Child. I wish I could, but I can't. Trying to think what other albums were like super good albums this year. Red Velvet's Pose, that's a good song. Red Velvet's Queendom was a good song. It's our queendom, yeah. Best packaging of the year, like straight up. Key's Bad Love is a great song. That's actually a really fun album, but I don't think it's in my top 3. But the packaging for Key and for Red Velvet, top packaging of the year. Fight me. There's no better packaging. There's no better packaging. Stacy's ASAP. I've heard great things about them. Stray Kids Thunderous, and I know it's controversial. You know what? Stray Kids stays being controversial. So Baekhyun's album was good. That's true. Baekhyun's album was very good. I don't think I like it better than Delight, though. I think Delight for me was Baekhyun's best. I know that that's an unpopular opinion because people really liked Bambi. I didn't really like Bambi all that much. Also, anyone in the chat, if you want to explain to me, what is Korea's obsession with Bambi? I mean it. I'm not even being facetious. Nothing like that. I've heard Bambi as a rap song. I've heard Bambi from Baekhyun. I've heard just the phrase Bambi as like a lyrical piece in different songs here, there, and everywhere. And I would really like to know what Korea's obsession is with Bambi, because it's always men talking about "you're my Bambi" or, calling people Bambi. And I don't know if maybe the translations are different in Korea than they are in America. But in the American movie Bambi, which is about a baby deer, Bambi's a boy. So if you're telling a girl you're my Bambi, what exactly you're trying to say to her? Are you trying to say you have skinny legs and big eyes and that's what I like? I mean, if that's the case, then I guess. But yeah, what is the deal with Korea and Bambi? Because again, Bambi is a little boy. Bambi is a child who is a victim of gun violence. His mother is killed right in front of his eyes by hunters. And Bambi is a child. So what is the obsession with Bambi again? I'm not even funny. I'm not even being funny. I really and truly would like to know, are they talking about the book that the movie is based on? Maybe there's something there. Are they just saying they doe-like women? I need help. I need help. I need someone to help me understand because I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like, the fuck. Bambi. Anywhoots, yeah, there's been a lot of good albums. There's been a lot of good albums this year. I'm gonna try to put together maybe a top 10 for albums this year before the year is out. Or maybe just like at the beginning of January, I might do like a top 10. Because I'm just thinking off the cuff right now. I really need to go back and look at all the things that I bought this year just to see like what I liked. Because there was a lot of music this year. It's like we realized that the pandemic wasn't going anywhere, and so everybody had initially thought, oh, I'll wait till the pandemic is over to release my music, and they're like, well, I can't wait 5 years. I gotta release something now. So everybody started releasing stuff this year. So there's been a lot of music to be had, a ton of music to be had. So I really do need to kind of figure out what my favorite things have been this year. Just like the things I could think off the top of my head, like I said, Shiny was a wonderful project. NCT was a wonderful project. Maybe it's a pun on the word dear, sounding like dear. So maybe it's them saying you're like a dear to my heart, I guess. You know what, Anthony? I will take that explanation because otherwise things just don't make no damn sense. Because again, Bambi is a little boy. So what are we talking about? It's kind of like when IU had her album with the little boy in the bush, and people were like, what the hell is going on here? Don't you really, Sarah? You didn't like CL's album? Okay, I should probably talk. I think I've already talked about. I know I've talked about CL's album. CL's album. CL's album is not what we expected. I think we were expecting something different from her album. I think that a lot of us have not let go of the idea that CL's album was supposed to be a 2NE1 album. And I think what CL gave us was basically Gijibe, but the extended version. I think some of the stuff that she did was a little bit more experimental than what fans of 2NE1 would have been used to, and therefore it doesn't feel as great to us or as familiar. But I also believe that it was a lot of progress for her. There were some moments on that album that I'm like, I was very impressed by how CL challenged herself to be a little bit more serious with her rap style. I was impressed by some of the vocal stuff CL was doing on the album. I was glad that she decided to put the other singles on the album. I thought that was a really good move. Overall, I liked the album for what it was itself. I don't think it was possible for CL to release anything that could match the hype of spending years waiting for this album. Like, let's just be real. CL waited so long to put out this album that at this point, unless she was letting the Underdogs produce and Ed Sheeran write a couple of songs and BTS feature on 3 songs, there was no way CL's album was going to be anything close to the hype that fans had built up for the last several years. Since Hello Bitches and Lifted. That's how long fans have been waiting for the CL album. There was no way she was going to meet everybody's expectations. And also, she's not working with the YG home team anymore either. So that's the reason why when I look at this album, I really have to look at it from the standpoint of somebody who is making a statement about who they are as a current artist. And that's really how you have to look at that album. Like, you can try to look at it through a 2NE1 lens, but you're going to be disappointed. But if you were to look at this album as, this is an album by an artist named CL, and this is what this artist is saying about themselves in this moment. If you do that, then the album is a success. And people who actually have liked CL for the artist that they believed that she could be, I think they were very pleased with that album. But for the people who are like, you are the heart of 2NE1 and we expect to hear, you might as well buy a Blackpink album. You really and truly you should. Because as much as it pains my heart to say this, Teddy is the sound of 2NE1. Yes, Bomb's voice. Yes, CL's rapping. Yes, Minji's dancing. Yes, Dara's personality. But really and truly, the reason why so many people got upset at Blackpink when they debuted is because Teddy is the heart of 2NE1's sound. And if no one from 2NE1 is working with Teddy, you're not going to replicate the 2NE1 sound. Like, that's just it. You're not going to replicate it. Because he is that sound. So, with that being said, if you like the sound of CL's voice, if you like the chances she takes with her fashion, if you dig her personality, if you think that she's got good taste in music, then you should enjoy CL's album for being CL's album. But if you are expecting to hear a 2NE1 album listening to CL's album, you are setting yourself up for failure here. You really are, because it's not a 2NE1 album. It's not. Well, I'm gonna go, guys, because I've been talking for a really long time. My mouth is dry, and I got laundry that needs to be folded. My washer and dryer is just going off in the background, but I don't know if I'll do many more videos before Christmas. I know I'll do at least unboxing day, and then I'm not sure if Mason is going to vlog our Secret Santa, our little group Secret Santa. He might. So if that happens, I'll get on live and I'll let you guys know about that. So you can go over to Mason's channel and watch it. But I might not see you guys many more times before the end of the year. But we just had Thanksgiving here in the United States. Also, other people celebrate Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. A lot of people don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But no matter what you celebrated, it is a time to give thanks for the many blessings in our life. And I want to give thanks to something a little bit different. I know I thank you guys all the time for watching my live streams, and I do thank you very, very much. Like, it means the world to me that you spend irreversible moments of your life with me. Like, that's a huge gift, and I thank you for it. I feel seen all the time talking to you, even though you can't talk to me back. But I want to spend some time giving thanks to the fact that we're living in a dying world. I know, what a horrible thing to give thanks. Why are you thankful that the world is dying? I think what I'm thankful for in that is that a lot of people are deciding that there's no time left to live your best life. You gotta live your best life now. There are a lot of people when I was growing up that said, I've got time, I'll do things later. And I don't know if young people under the age of, I would say people under the age of 30, I don't know if young people understand how many people waited to live their life. How many people went through Enron and went through the housing bubble and the internet bubble and all these other economic bubbles and these terrible political leaders to get to the point we're at now. But because we're facing unparalleled political times, unparalleled economic times, unparalleled environmental times, the whole pandemic, all of this, because we're facing all that, a lot of us have decided there is no tomorrow. I've got to get this today. And I'm thankful for the fact that so many people are using this circumstance to finally live their best lives. You know, not for nothing, I am 42 years old. And when I look at people that are my same age, sometimes I'm so sad. I'm so sad because there are so many people my age, me included, who had big dreams, and we waited and waited and waited, and we thought we'd be able to catch up one day, and now we're just living lives out of convenience. We're living the life that we're forced to live in order to get by. And because of that, you know, my generation is one of the most silent sufferers of mental health related problems. We are your Karens, my generation. We are your Karens, we are your Chads, we are your Kyles, whoever the fuck it is you hate, it's us. We're the ones who want to speak to your manager. We're the ones cutting up at the beauty salon. We're the one that you base your TikTok customer service horror stories on. It's us. But we're like that because mental health wasn't taken as seriously when we were younger. And we were just that first generation who you were basically told if you don't make it by the time you're 22, you're never going to make it. We are the generation who we couldn't buy houses like our parents. We were the generation who were the first ones to see that secondary school wasn't paying off the way that our parents promised it would. That getting a college education didn't mean you were going to get a college education worthy paycheck afterwards. And we struggle in this real in-between world of, our parents being able to retire and live the lives we know that we'll never live, and then our kids being able to be the person that we never could have been because we were told we needed to stay in line in order to one day get the gift of a stable house and a good job and a happy family. And it didn't work out that way. And so now that we're facing the end, kind of, and things are more terrible than they've ever been, I know I'm seeing people in my generation finally saying, fuck it. Fuck it. Tomorrow's not promised. Things aren't going the way we were told they were going to go. So we're just going to live. And so a lot of people in my generation are just living. And a lot of our kids are just living. And we're finally out here starting to right some long wrongs. We're finally out here putting a name to the abuses that we faced when we were younger. We're putting a name to the psychosis that we've been suffering from for years. We're finally starting to pick up the pieces and put the puzzle pieces in place and trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And so even though I'm terrified of the world, I'm terrified of the fires we see every summer, I'm terrified of these super dry winters, I'm terrified of the political landscape, I'm terrified of so much. I'm also really grateful that because we're so scared, we're just not waiting any longer. We're just getting out there and we're doing it. And I want to extend this to you. If you're in a situation that you don't like, if you have any opportunity at all to get out of it, do it. Don't wait. You ain't got no time to wait. Get out of it now. Do something else. Get out of it now. If people have been denying you love, have been denying you respect, if people have always looked at you as one person instead of seeing who you really are, and you want to be seen, do it now. In my generation, the idea of cutting your parents off completely was reserved for the worst people in the world. People who killed your parents, people who molested you. It wasn't ever reserved for the parent who's just mean. But now, if you got a family member who's just fucking mean, leave them the fuck alone. Quit going to Thanksgiving with them. Quit fucking with them. You don't owe anybody elderly care. You don't owe anybody money because they paid for you to eat when you were 5 years old. You don't owe anybody respect when they won't even call you by your right pronoun or your right name. You don't owe an opportunity to hold conversations with people who belittle you. You don't owe anybody anything except common decency. And you only owe them common decency if they give you common decency back. And if they're not doing that, move the fuck on. There's no time. There's no time. So if you've been plotting and scheming about making a change, get your Google on. Get your resume cleaned up. Post it on Indeed. Get your LinkedIn tightened up. Start doing the things that you need to do and make a change. Don't wait because you ain't got time. Don't wait. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you have blessed holidays. Again, like I don't know if I'll see you again anytime soon. But until I do, I wish you the best in whatever it is you're trying to pursue. Take care, guys.